What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
They were being served by Veyron, looking every part like a staffer at a tropical resort. Despite his advanced age, his back was fully straight in an amazing, statuesque posture.
Hey, this is really good. It feels so manly, yeah? Great stuff.
Indeed, my goblin friend. I am just as satisfied. This delicate flavoring, and the more you chew, the more flavor seeps out of it. Truly a delight for the taste buds.
Gobta and Gabble were offering high praise to a meal prepared by Zonda, Ultima's underling. It was a whole roast on the bone, like a cartoon snack for a caveman, simply seasoned with salt and herbs. This wasn't from the army's pantry. Whatever it was, Zonda had gone out and hunted it himself.
As a chef, it is a tremendous honor to have two army generals offer me such praise. My specialty is court palace cuisine, so this kind of camp food is out of my expertise. Please forgive me if anything displeases you.
With that, Zonda bowed gracefully and retreated to Ultima's side. His double-breasted chef's coat was a Shuna-crafted masterpiece, made from Helmoth silk and dyed the same shade of light purple as Zonda's hair. It certainly made him stand out from the armor and military dress he was surrounded by. Even Testarossa and Ultima were sporting custom-made military uniforms. Testarossa was wearing pants, and Ultima opted for a skirt, but both were unmistakably army gear. It was no surprise that Zonda stood out. He carried himself in an ever so sophisticated way, one that seemed unsuitable for the battlefield. He certainly brought a touch of class to this camp, and by now, he was indispensable. He had been teaching many of the soldiers the finer points of camp cuisine, winning their hearts and stomachs, and being Ultima's direct underling gave him a lot of freedom. Ultima being rather a free spirit herself, she had a lot of authority as an advisor to corps leader Gabble, and she wasn't afraid to use it. With her bold, proud demeanor, she had no problem overriding any and all complaints from the other demons. She was practically demonic royalty already, and only a small handful of people could dare offer a complaint to her.
It's not to my taste. You're not offering enough dishes, either. I wish there was more variety.
I think you've got a point there. Going with these roasts and this basic hot pot, it's just way too skimpy. You've come to know Shuna and Mr. Yoshida by now. Hone your skills and make yourself more useful to us.
Unlike the effusive Gobta and Gabble, Testarossa and Ultima were not exactly fans.
I'm deeply sorry.
Zonda meekly replied, before Gabble spoke up.
No, Zonda, not at all. And I'm sure Ultima completely approves of your skill. The problem, I imagine, lies not in the taste.
The sudden remark drew the attention of everyone around them. Testarossa looked intrigued. Ultima was peeved that someone was disagreeing with her, and Zonda was visibly shaken at the possibility that he just upset his boss. Veyron, meanwhile, was as unaffected as always. Gobta, of course, ignored all this and asked a question.
What do you mean by that?
Thank you for asking, Gobta. How to put it? My younger sister gripes at me all the time. You see, she keeps saying I should think about things from a more feminine perspective.
What do you mean by that?
Gobta asked again, taking a bite out of his roast.
That's the thing, Gobta. Here we are, enjoying this meal, not worrying about whoever might be seeing us. But Testarossa and Ultima can't afford to follow our lead in that respect, no?
Now Zonda understood what Gabble was driving at. It made sense to him. Until he obtained a physical body, food had never been a requirement for him, and so he had forgotten something quite basic. Good cuisine, after all, was about more than just taste.
Gee, Gabble, that's a very good point. Not the kind of thing you normally say at all, either.
No, it's something I'm working on as well, you see. Of course, it's honestly more something Sir Rimuru taught me, but...
Gabble began to spin an anecdote from when he asked Rimuru for advice not long ago.
Rimuru,
he had said to him,
I want to be as popular with the women as you are. What do you suggest I do?
You're asking me that? Because, look, I'm still a virgin. Never mind. Gabble, let me give you this piece of wisdom. If you want girls to like you, you gotta learn how to be delicate. Do that, and they'll naturally flock to you.
That, Gabble proudly explained, was what Rimuru had told him.
Then I remembered what Soka told me, and it dawned on me that Rimuru was just advising me not to do anything a woman wouldn't like. The most basic of things.
Everyone was impressed by Gabble's impassioned argument. Sir Rimuru strikes again, in a way. If he was overhearing this, he definitely would have blushed. Good thing he wasn't around, then, because nobody else was going to stop Gabble from prattling on about him.
Lady Ultima, Lady Testarossa, please accept my apology. I promise I will do my best to meet your expectations the next time I cook for you.
With a graceful bow, Zonda stepped in front of Ultima and Testarossa and took a knee.
Look at that. You've got quite a talented servant. And meanwhile, look at mine.
What are you talking about? Ma seems perfectly useful to me. And if Cien's working in your place, Testa, he must be incredibly good at paperwork, right? My servants are more about manual labor, so I envy you having someone you can assign those kinds of chores to.
Well, Ultima, maybe you're right. No point asking for what you can't have, though.
Testarossa and Ultima continued talking, all but ignoring the kneeling Zonda. Their attitude might have seemed cold to Gobta and the rest, but it was actually quite the opposite. Being at the pinnacle of demons as they were, they rarely even took any interest in other people, let alone praised them. Veyron and Zonda, fully aware of this, became noticeably nervous when their names came up. But at the same time, they felt a sense of elation, like their souls were set aflame, basking in the recognition their masters offered them. But not everybody picked up on this.
Boy.
Gupta said.
It's tough being a lady, huh? Like, I guess they're asking you for that thing where you have to cut it into small bites so it's easier to eat, right? I get what Gabble's saying, but honestly, that's too much work.
Gobta, that's the sort of thing you should never say out loud, no matter how strongly you feel about it. It's the first step, you see, to becoming a gentleman. That, yes, that, was what Sir Rimuru taught me.
No, I understand that, okay? But this is a battlefield. You gotta eat when you can and not ask for fancy stuff. As a core leader, I think that's the right way to act around here.
As long as I can eat, Gupta thought, what's it matter what it is? And given they were in a soon-to-be war zone, he felt justified pointing out how selfish it was to say something like that. The fact that he was appointed the leader of an entire army gave him a sense of responsibility, and what's more, he wanted to show his soldiers that he was just a bit cooler than all of them, or so he thought. That's why he said it. And he was right. It was a perfectly valid argument. But sometimes, people just won't listen to the truth. And Gupta probably should have thought about that first.
Gobta's a pretty funny guy. That was actually hilarious.
You said it. I'm so glad I'm assigned to him.
Ultima and Testarossa were all smiles. Their eyes, on the other hand, weren't smiling at all. Oh, man, thought everybody but Gupta, these demons are serious trouble.
Whoa, Gobta. Commander Gobta? Let's keep it at that. I'm sure our intelligence officers understand, so.
It was Gobchi, one of Gopta's aides de camp, who hurriedly stepped up to stop him. He knew Gopta enough to realize that his superior officer had no ill intentions, he was just expressing his honest opinion. To him, Gopta wasn't wrong about a thing. But in this world, being right wasn't enough to guarantee your survival. Some people simply didn't listen to valid arguments. As a goblin who knew how to read a social situation, Gobchi knew that Testarossa and Ultima were two people you did not want to get on the wrong side of. After all, common sense dictated that someone who enjoyed a little tea time on a battlefield was unconventional, to say the least. Gobta, he said to himself, you really shouldn't be lecturing those two. And as he predicted, Gobta was in a terrifyingly dangerous situation. Testarossa and Ultima weren't angry or anything. They simply thought he was an interesting toy. But if a pair of primal demons thought of him as a toy, it meant nothing less than Gopta's life hanging in the balance. But then a miracle happened.
Hey, Testarossa, you got a moment to chat?
Rimuru chose this exact second to throw Testarossa a contact terminal call. Gopta's life was spared for another day.
Not a problem at all. What can I do for you, Sir Rimuru?
Testarossa kneeled on the spot. Those around her immediately realized whom she was currently in contact with. It wasn't long before everyone else was on their knees, although Rimuru wasn't aware of that.
Oh, wait one sec.
He nonchalantly said before sending a thought communication Gopta's and Gabble's way.
Are we connected now?
Yes, sir.
I am on the line as well, my lord.
They both sensed Rimuru nodding, but the next thing he said surprised them all.
I've just finished a meeting with King Gazel. We decided that the Tempest forces would take the lead against the Empire, but before that, we're gonna go to the bargaining table with them.
He really wanted to launch a preemptive attack, he explained, but before that, they planned to reach out and offer them a chance to surrender. Then Rimuru went on to explain his arrangement with Gazel, Testarossa and the others listening in without interrupting. Once he was done.
So, Sir Rimuru, you'd like me to represent you in that negotiation?
The ever-perceptive Testarossa spoke up first. She was confirming it for politeness' sake, but in her mind, it was already settled business. The problem, then, was how to entrap the Empire.
Yeah, I would. As a diplomat, I'll let you keep your authorization to act with my full powers if need be. You may also consult with me anytime via thought communication, and you'll still have the same status as a corps commander, so I want you to work with Gobta and Gabble to get the job done.
As you wish.
Although she and Ultima were currently deployed as observers, Testarossa was also the commander of the Western deployment. That army wouldn't have a role to play this time, but it was still one of the largest in Tempest. In terms of rank, that put her on par with Gopta and Gabble, so she made the perfect candidate for an emissary to the Empire.
Right, great. Now, I imagine you're gonna be exposed to some danger in this job, but are you okay with that?
Rimuru seemed concerned, but Testarossa had already gleefully accepted the post.
Nothing wrong with that, no. I will gladly show the ignorant citizens of the Empire the full majesty of your glory.
Okay, cool? I mean, I'd like to avoid war if possible, but I don't think that's gonna be doable this time, so?
So we will declare the Empire our enemies and lay waste to it, then.
Huh? Well, I guess, but.
Then leave this negotiation to me, Sir Rimuru. If they are foolish enough to reject your merciful ultimatum, they do not deserve to breathe for another minute. I will destroy each and every one of them.
Testarossa was ready to kill. It visibly dismayed Gabble. I'd much rather not have this terrifying woman in my life, he thought. Gupta, on the other hand, was still running on Gupta time.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, Sir Rimuru. Testarossa's just talking a big game because she's excited for her first trip to the battlefield. I'll be supporting her every step of the way, so we're rock solid over here.
It was a bold declaration for someone as socially oblivious as him.
Wait, you'll join her?
Of course. I'm commanding an army. I got a responsibility to uphold, and part of that job is to keep our more vulnerable women protected.
Gupta stuck his chest out proudly at the stunned Rimuru. Even Testarossa had to chuckle a bit. This goblin, he's a fool, but I can't hate him for it. Being misunderstood to this extent even made Testarossa want to laugh it off. The fact that he totally failed to notice that she wasn't even trying to hide her brutality. He was a real my way or the highway guy, she had to admit.
Alright, then I'll send Ranga over as well, so both he and you can be Testarossa's bodyguards. If the Empire agrees to our demands, then great. If they don't, it's gonna be war right then and there, so try not to die on me, okay?
I'm on the job, Sir Rimuru. I got a lot of experience running from my opponents, you know.
Oh yes, you do, don't you? Then go make me proud, Gobta.
With that, Rimuru shut off the thought communication. The monster armies now had their marching orders. Everyone fell quiet, collecting their thoughts.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Darius King, Normal Defate, Shavan Green, Destiny Smith, Harry Smith, Vicente Baharias, Stephen Duplessis, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, Edmund, Zachary Shubi, Mike Avila. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.